and another Tuesday night chit chat. It is St. Patty's Day. So welcome everybody. I hope you're wearing your green. Hope nobody got pinched today. I've had my green on all day. The camera's not really picking up. This is actually a very green shirt. But the clock is also very green. It's like Kelly green or leaf green, I think. And it doesn't look like that in the camera. So I hope it picks it up. I am wearing green tonight, guys. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I hope y'all got to get out a little bit and celebrate and had some good luck today. Let's just start off by seeing who's here. Because I think Roy made it first in. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. I'm so happy you're here. So did you ever figure out who that relation was? It was a girl. Maybe 30 years old, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm really bad at ages, but my daughter's generation, let's put it that way. Anyway, she sent me a friend request on Facebook. Same last name, and I looked her up, and she's from Melbourne, Australia. So Charles made it in. Hello, sir. How are you? Glad to see you. He says, hello, Sly. And Scott made it in. Scott, you look like just a few minutes ago. Are you home? Because just a few minutes ago, I got notification that you were eating something that looked absolutely delicious. It wasn't green, by the way, but it looked good. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Honestly, it's probably been 20 minutes ago, maybe 30. So, and Scott says, I saw the reminder again. Yay! Yeah, I think it does send it to you. But I will say this. I do not get all my notifications. So maybe it doesn't. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt because I have missed some, I have forgotten about some live streams, and not my own, but other people's. And I have missed some videos because I don't get the notification. So Randy is a very good example. Sometimes I get notifications that he has put out a new video, and a lot of times I do not. So I just know to go look at his, when I have time, I go and I look to see, because Randy puts out videos every day. So Roy says, I'm always here. Yes, you are, and I love that. I love that. It's like I imagine opening my door and in come all my friends. And it is so cool to see you guys every week. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just think it's the highlight of my week. And Flying Toast made it in. Hi, Sly. Happy Tuesday. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day. You can't forget that, Toast. I don't know what I'm not Irish, but I can still celebrate St. Patty's Day. Oh, no sound. Really? Okay. Does anybody else not have sound? Because my little bar is just going crazy. So, Charles, maybe it's on your end, but he wouldn't be able to hear me if he can't hear me. So I don't know how you tell somebody that maybe it's on their end. So apparently he's not hearing me. So anyway, to Charles, I'm waving at you. So check your sound. And see, Roy can hear me. Either that or he's a really good lip reader. If her name is Joanna, then she's my daughter-in-law. Okay. Yes, I think so. I think that's what her name was. Dark hair, very pretty girl. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Roy says, I get out of sync sound. Oh. Okay. What does that mean? Like the sound doesn't match my lips, or like it's way out? I don't know. Because I do a test before I actually go live, like at 8:15 or something, and everything was fine. So I don't know. It's moved. Yeah, everything's, because a lot of times it'll like lock up and it'll be delayed, and so I have to turn everything off and reset everything, and then when I come back, everything works fine. But it hasn't been doing that. It didn't lock up, so the sound should be okay. I don't know. Let me know, please. Uh, and Sammy's saying hello. Hello, Sammy. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Um, I was just telling him that it feels like you guys are, like, I'm having a party every Tuesday night, and it's wonderful and great and cool. Peter says all is perfectly normal. Your lips are in sync. People need to reboot their YouTube. I like it when my lips are in sync. That's a good thing, because it's really bad when you say something and then 20 seconds later the sound comes through. That's no good. No bueno. So I hope everybody had something green today. Um, I know my son works in an Irish pub, and it has been crazy. Like, they were bringing in extra law enforcement because they've had such a huge crowd. It's a big restaurant, but they've had such a huge crowd, and he was on the news, which I just thought was too cool. I was going to share it with you, but the videos that you can go online and watch are locked, and so I could not extricate the video to put it on my YouTube. You would think that they would want, I don't know, it's probably a copyright issue or something, but anyway, they interviewed him and he did a phenomenal job. I was so proud of him. And it was a local news station, but it was still kind of really cool. He called and he said, "Yeah, I was on I'll be on the news." And then a couple of days later, he sent me the link, and the link he sent me was to like all of their news stories, and so I really had to dig through, and once I found it, I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm going to copy and share this, or just share it on my live stream." And it's locked. It says something about being locked. So anyway, it's cool beans when you see your kids on TV. And they said he did really well, that he was appeared to be used to having a camera, being on camera. And he said, "Yes, my mother's been shoving a camera in my face since I was a baby." So, yeah, mom gets a little tag there. So, I don't really have a whole lot for you guys tonight, other than whenever I see a really good deal on something, I got to share it with you. And so, back in December, I found these little. Uh, they're actually tech organizers. Okay. And so before you guys get too excited about the colors, because I know not very many of you in here would order a pink one. It's okay. I most of the time wouldn't either, but it was on sale. And I'm all about a good bargain. But they come a 2-pack. So you get a small one and I would call this a large one. I would not even call this, I'd call this a medium and a large. It says small on the website, but I'm thinking this is for me. This would be like a medium, and this would be like a large. And I don't really use the larges, but I got notification that they're even more on sale now. So I got another set. And again, I use this size. This size is for me, it's kind of big, but I guess if you had big stuff, you could put it in there. But you get both of them for $9.99. It's a really good deal. And they're pretty well made. I mean, they're not going to survive an earthquake, okay? Well, they might survive an earthquake. They're not going to last 100 years. Let's put it that way. But then guess what? Neither am I. So I'm good with that. But the large is just, it's got like loops and so many little organizer things, like these stretchy loops. But it's got a whole bunch of different, it's kind of like my little pouches I carry, but on a grander scale. And I could fill it up and it would get pretty heavy. So the little ones just work perfect for me. And yes, blue is much more my color than pink, but there, some people like pink. My grandson loves pink. It's all cool. But the little one, this is going to be my trail cam thing that I take with me when we go to change the SD cards out. Remember, I'm starting a new channel. I don't know when it's going to be, because you really want like 4 or 5 videos in the queue before your channel goes live, um, so that people have something to watch. And so it's going to be all about like trail cam stuff, animals in the woods at night and during the day, and just whenever they happen across the camera's path. But this one, I don't know. It's just these pockets up here. That's that cute little PGY Tech card reader thing. It's just, everything just fits. And it's really slim. Look how slim that is. I like slim, small things. So anyway, for here, there we go. $9.99. It's a heck of a deal. I think I put a link to it down below. So, you know what? I have lost my little circle. I need to work on that. Not right now, but at another time, I will work on that. Roy says to Peter, it corrected itself. Awesome. Because I really, it makes me nervous when my lips are going that way and my voice is going that way. And, where am I at here? Roy says, I'd buy pink if I were colorblind. Well, it's a pretty shade. It's a pretty shade of pink. However, I am afraid, I'm not so much afraid of the pink. I'm afraid of this light color, because I am a dirt magnet and I can't hardly go from here to the truck and get to where I'm going without getting dirt on me somewhere. So I would be more afraid of the beigey ivory color than I am actually afraid of the pink. This is more my style right here, the black and the gray, because it won't show dirt. Yeah, I like the blue too. And at $9.99, there is a multitude of things you could do with this. Now, I don't know what the prices are in Australia. So that's US, which is a pretty good deal. I have been on, I know everybody's heard of it, a thing called Reddit. My daughter got me on it. And somehow I've gotten involved. I'm not really sure how that's happened. Yes, I am. I love to stick my nose where it doesn't belong. So anyway, I've gotten involved with all these different subreddits. I'm getting the lingo, right? And so I've had a couple of people ask me about different bags that I normally probably would not do a review on. But I ordered them. They're coming in. We'll see. We'll see if I like them. You guys will be the first to know before a video ever gets dropped. You guys get the first look. And speak of the devil, see, they always come in. Whenever you say somebody's name, I need to just go through the list and say everybody's name. And Uncle G says, Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. So I know he had a really, really busy day. And so thank you very much for coming in, because I know you are exhausted. And I heard you were a little under the weather as well. I hope you're feeling better. Roy says, pink used to be a boy color until about 1927, when pink and blue were gender reversed. Well, speaking of, that's kind of funny, because my daughter has now it's considered a boy's name, But back in that era, it was a girl's name. It's kind of like if you've ever watched Gone with the Wind, Ashley was a guy. Ashley is now considered a girl's name, but it was a guy's name. So it suits her, but yeah. So cool. So for all you guys who like pink, yeah. No, I honestly, they've got a whole bunch of different colors right now. You can get black and black for $9.99. The only color that's not on sale is the black and gray. But you can get the black and gray if you get the pink, which is what I did back in December. But you can get all black for $9.99. So for all you guys out there that can't have color in your life, you can get all black. That's not really my thing. I like color. Not necessarily pink, but I do not like all black. So, yeah. So if you notice, there's very few. It doesn't, it's funny because it doesn't show up in the light, but not very many of these bags are black. There's a few back there, but like this one is brown. This one is green. There's just not very many all black ones back there. Roy says, my only St. Patrick's connection is an Irish grandfather. Yeah, I would think Bixby could be an Irish name. I don't know how to talk in Irish, but I would think Bixby could be an Irish name. I don't know. Roy says, I'll buy one in pink for my son-in-law. He's colorblind. I think that works with blue and greens. I don't think pink is on the spectrum of being a colorblind. There's brown, green, and blues, I think, that they can't see. They can't differentiate those colors. But I'm not sure. I'm not colorblind, so I don't know. But that's kind of my find of the week. And maybe I should have gotten the black. I might have to order a couple more. Because they're really nice cases. For $9.99, that is a steal. I've never heard of this company. Matein, I think is how you say it. Matein? I don't know. But I do like their little cases. I don't know what else they make. I really did not research it. I just, when I was looking for a case when I was in Nevada, and because I had bought some stuff, I didn't have any room in the cases I had taken, and so I ordered one, had it shipped out there, and these were on sale. These two, this little set was on sale, and so that's how I ended up with a pink one, which, I mean, it's fine, but it's the big one, the size. Charles says, we need a company that makes a single bag that is pink and blue, a special edition for those that have identity confusion syndrome. Yeah, well, yeah, don't even get me started on that, Charles, because I just think that's, I'm very not politically correct. Okay. My children tell me that all the time, and I don't want to go on live YouTube and let people know how ignorant I am. No, it's not ignorance. I don't know. You do you. Yeah, okay? I am of the belief that it doesn't matter. If you just do you, okay? I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. It's fine. Jeff says, love your bag. So what have I missed? Just that. I don't know if the price is the same in Australia, Jeff, so you might want to look it up. The link is to a US Amazon. I don't know if it does it. You guys tell me. If you click that link, does it automatically take you to an Australian Amazon? I don't know. Because I have clicked links before that have taken me like to a to a euro or a Canadian Amazon. So, but then you just put it in your Amazon, like the US Amazon, and it comes up the same, but it's just in US dollars instead of Canadian dollars. So, or what do they call them? Euro? Is it euros? Pounds? I don't know. I'm not a world traveler. I want to be, but I'm not. But we are going down Friday. So the weather here, let's talk about the weather for just a minute. The weather here is insane. 1 minute it is 80 degrees, and the next day, I think it dropped 40 degrees in one day. So Sunday, it was in the 70s in the morning. In the morning, it would have been another 80-degree day. It was in the 70s, and at noon, from I think like 11-ish to 1, it dropped 40 degrees. So like this cold front came in, and it was like whoosh, and it got stupid cold. I was mildly annoyed because I've been working really, really hard on my backyard. If you guys remember, so I kind of am picky about my yard. Always have been. I want it to look a certain way. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want it to look a certain way. And I had the yard here how I wanted it, and the landlord decided to put in a French drain. And it destroyed my yard. I was horribly upset. In fact, I think I missed the live stream that week because they started on a Tuesday. And it really, really upset me. So you really don't want to do a whole lot in the winter, right? Because, what's the point? So when spring started hitting, I have treated the grass twice. I have sprayed down my liquid fence again because the dirt that they brought, they dug up, instead of hauling it off, they piled it along the fence, and I have a concrete wall in the back, and they piled it along the concrete wall. The concrete wall, it's fine. I really don't care. But the landlord just put up a new fence last summer, and maybe it was 2 summers ago, but they piled wood or dirt against the wood. So here's your fence, here's the bottom of your fence. It's supposed to be above the ground just a little bit so there's air can go through. And they packed it with dirt on both sides of each fence is packed now with dirt about that deep. And what that's going to do is rot the fence out. So I'm not going to mess with it. I made her aware this is what they had done. If she wants to do something about it, she can, but yeah. So anyway, I've been back there with shovels and trying to like grade it flat with a shovel, which is like a lot of work, and treating the yard and all this stuff. And last week it was really, really warm. The snakes were out. Now, I know there's a lot of people that love snakes, but I'm not one of them. Okay. The first one I saw, I actually still had the shovel in my hand, so that snake is no more. The next two I saw, I did not have a shovel in my hand, and so they got to live. Okay. Well, I was like 90% done, right? I was just so close to being done that I wanted to finish up Sunday, but then the weather got really cold. And when it goes from being almost 80 in the 70s down to the 40s, your body can't adjust really that fast. So it feels a lot colder than what it actually was. So I just came in and said, I'm done. I can't do this. Well, yesterday I thought snakes don't like cold. And I had to pull up a tarp that had been basically a base for a greenhouse for more years than I can count. And so I knew there was going to be snakes under there. But I'm thinking, okay, if it's really cold, snakes don't like cold. They will go underground. And sure enough, they did. I did not see one single snake yesterday. Got 100% done. My yard looks amazing, and I'm a very happy girl. So, so that's kind of my backyard story. Roy says Aussie Amazon is separate and defer. Defer. Okay. Can still order from USA. Now, if you order from Amazon US, do you have to pay? I guess, is the tariff only one way? I really don't know. But it seems like the shipping would be exorbitant. Oh dear. Separate and dearer can still order from USA. Okay. Is it so like Canadian, I think, is like more expensive than US? Australian is probably more expensive too, I'm guessing. Not 100% sure about that. Charles says, I love bags made out of snake skin. Money to be made. Well, these are little bitty garden snakes. So I don't, you might make a hair tie out of one. I don't know. But if it slithers, I don't want it around me. Okay. Roy says, I don't get snakes. Kookaburras eat them all. That's what I need is a kookaburra. It's a bird, right? Yeah, I could just build it a little birdhouse out there, and these are the perfect size for a kookaburra because they're they're maybe this long, right? And thinner than my pinky. I mean, they're little. They're little bitty. Now these could also be babies because it is that time of year, but they just need to stay out of my yard. Roy says tariff is only to the USA. Shipping can be expensive all the way from China. Oh. See, I would think you were closer to China than we are. I really don't know. I need one of those world maps so I know where everything is because I really don't know. But I know to ship from here to England, I have a good friend that lives in England. And for me to send her a birthday gift, Christmas gift, anything, minimum, if it's the light, like an empty envelope, it's $40. So yeah, and then if you put anything inside, it just goes up from there. So shipping rates have really gotten exorbitant. I sent a guy a backpack in Oklahoma, like maybe hour and a half from where I live, and it was $20. And backpacks don't weigh anything when they're empty. I mean, and the box was not that big. So I don't know why it was so expensive. It never used to be. It used to be $7 or $8. But this was when I pulled it up, it was $20 and he paid it. So apparently I'm the only one who's behind the times. But the last backpack I shipped was about $7 or $8. So I was surprised it was that expensive, but it hasn't been that long ago. Maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe. Yeah. So I don't know. Um, Actually, you know what? The last thing I shipped before that backpack was probably the camera bag. And I think it was only $7 or $8. I could be wrong, but I don't remember it being 20. That seems a little exorbitant. Charles says, Roy, things are changing with the war on Iran. 90% of China's oil goes through the strait that is blocked by the war. Yeah, see, not only do I'm not political at all. At times I feel like I've got my head in the sand because I don't know a lot of like what's going on in the world. I know that we're at war. I get that. But I don't know all the specifics. So I did not know that uh, the strait that China gets their oil from is blocked. Roy says to Charles, I hope I don't need much then. Well, yeah, that's unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever side of the fence you're on, uh, we have outsourced a lot of products. And so finding stuff that is made in the USA can sometimes be kind of hard. I know there's a t-shirt company that I like that um, imports their t-shirts and they print them in the USA, but they're made, I want to say they're not made in China. They're made in, ah, okay, don't get me lying. India. They're made in India and then they're imported to the USA and then printed here. But I know the price went up because apparently we have tariffs against everybody. And so it's just, just cost of doing business. Roy says, I'm not political, but American politics can be very funny. We think so too, Roy. Yeah. I quit watching because it is so ludicrous. And what the rest of the world must think of us right now is just, it's like, yeah, okay. In 60 years, I've never had a president actually do anything that affected me personally. And so I really have never been political. They can just do what they want to do in Washington and they're going to screw things up anyway. And they've been doing it for 200 years. Just keep doing what you're doing. Well, not this time. This time it's affecting, it's closer to home. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I'm sure. Well, I know our late night talk show hosts are getting so much material, it's not even funny. But yeah, I've never been a very political person. So only because it just, I've worked my entire life and it just has never affected me. So um, there was something else that I saw about, and I wanted to ask you, Roy, because now I can't remember what it was. And I had my meds today, so I don't know why I'm having such a brain fog tonight. But it was something about something in Australia, and I kind of made a mental note, and guess what? It got deleted. So if I think of it, I will ask you. I need to write this stuff down because my mental notes are being written with invisible ink that fades, and then you can't see it. So there's that. Um, but yeah, so what have y'all done this week? Right? That's kind of been my week. We will see. Apparently, there is a thing called a Texas tick. Never heard of it. I have had Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and they give you antibiotics and you're fine. Well, apparently, if you get bit by a Texas tick, uh, you can't tolerate red meat anymore. And that is like my main diet is red meat, right? I mean, almost every single day I eat red meat, whether it be a hamburger or a steak or, tacos or whatever it is. And so my daughter was very adamant that because we're going into the wilderness on Friday. And so she was very adamant that I spray everything. I like tie my pant legs, tuck them in my boots and then tie a plastic bag around them and then spray the heck out of that and that I don't get bit by a Texas tick. So, um, a vegan, yeah, Sly would not be a good vegan. Okay, if I ever become diabetic or can't tolerate red meat, I'm in a lot of trouble because I eat chicken about once a month, maybe. Pork, same way. I don't eat fish at all. So, yeah, I would be in bad straits. Charles says, snakes eat Texas ticks. Well, I'm not taking a snake with me. So there's probably plenty down there. Now, here's the thing. Today, it is cold. It was warm, like 60 something this afternoon. But tonight it will be down again and probably in the 40s. And Friday, it's supposed to be almost 80. I would much rather it be chilly when we go exploring these woods so that all the snakes and ticks and things don't find me. This Let me give you a little context here. It's 80 acres that has not legally had anybody even step foot on it for at least 40 years. Now, there may be people that live down there that actually know that it's, that nobody's going to be around. And so there may be trespassers that hunt on it. There's no trespassing signs. There's no nothing. There's no fences. There's no this land has been in my family for we figured it up, over 120 years. I think it was purchased during the Oklahoma Land Run, which I believe was 1904. So 120 years, and nobody has, in the last 40, has done anything. Years and years ago in the 50s and maybe the 60s, some of the oil companies were interested in it, but it's on the wrong side of the fault, so it doesn't produce anything. And so nobody has been down there. If you go back and look at a Google Earth map or satellite, back in the 80s, there was a road for the tankers to get up in there, but that has way long since grown over. It hasn't. Oil companies have leased it for at least 40 years, more than that probably. But so it is literally a wilderness. Yeah, it's not a big wilderness, but it is a wilderness. And that's where we're going. Roy says Australia has most of the world's deadliest snakes. Yep, that did it for me, Roy. I'll just wave from here. They probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but they probably aren't in the big cities. I'm guessing, like Melbourne and Sydney, and yeah, they're probably not. So I can think of Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. Um, do you have more than? I'm sure you do have more than 3 big cities. Sydney, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we're getting a map. Charles says, you mean real snakes or human snakes? I'm talking real snakes. Yeah, I don't do snakes. I avoid human snakes too. Roy says to Charles, are human snakes we keep in Parliament? Yeah, well, see, that's why I don't get political. I actually went to school with a kid whose dad was in the Senate for years and years and years. He finally passed away. But and he never retired. Like, he was in the Senate until he passed. I think and he was in his 80s when he passed. So I think there should be an age limit. You have to be, I do know this from way back when I was in school. You have to be 35 to even be president. Okay. I think there should be an age limit on the other end. I really, I wouldn't want to be working when I'm 80. I wouldn't want to be working when I'm 70. So put an age limit. You have to retire by the time you're 70. 65. You have to retire by the time you're 65. That's when Medicare starts and all this stuff. So if you're a politician, you have to retire by the time you're 65. And then let somebody new come in. Just saying. It's a stressful job. Elderly should not have stressful jobs. Roy says, I mostly only see brown snakes in the suburbs. Well, and that's, yeah, I mean, I would be extremely surprised to find a copperhead or a water moccasin or anything like that in town. I'm sure there are some, but it would shock me to see one. Now, you go out very far and you're going to see them. Like once you get outside of town, yeah, you're going to see them. We don't have really too many rattlesnakes. We have copperheads and water moccasins. Those are aplenty in Oklahoma. Not really rattlesnake territory, but yeah. And let me tell you, water moccasins are not nice snakes. They are aggressive, especially in the springtime when they have their babies, and they can jump. I was on a boat on a lake, and a water moccasin and we were with some friends, and they were in their boat, we were in ours, and a snake actually jumped off the water into his boat. Now, being the big hunter fisherman guy that he was, he remained calm and dealt with it. Me, I would have been a screaming ninny, right? Just couldn't get out of that area fast enough. As it was, I got the boat further away. Like we were kind of fishing close enough we could talk to each other, but like not right upon each other. And when we saw the snake coming across the water, and it actually curled up on top of the water and jumped. I will never forget that. And yeah, I don't like snakes. So we have seen a few when we've been kayaking, but they seem to want to stay away from us as much as we want to stay away from them. And so if we see a little snake crossing a river, I just stop, let him do his thing, and then I continue on. And everybody gets along really, really well. Toe says, I can't wait to see my first diamondback of the year, but I've still probably got a month for that. Yes, you're in rattlesnake country. So yeah. But there again, I don't think they're in this like in the urban areas. I think they're more like out away from people. I could be wrong, but I know ours are. So we have a lot of copperheads. We had a kind of a funny story. We had we used to have 40 acres that we lived on, and there was a trail that went up to a pond. And the kids, kids being kids, they're out there running around all the time. And my son is running down this trail, and he jumped over a stick and kept running. Okay. Now, mom is coming in behind him, and it wasn't a stick. It was a copperhead. And I think he thought it was a stick, so he didn't like go crazy or anything. I went a little crazy, oh my God, you could have been bit. Yeah. So, Toe says, your snakes sound more colorful than ours. Well, yes, but they're not as noisy because yours have little rattles on on the end that go, and ours aren't noisy like that. So, yeah, they do. Copperheads are pretty colorful. I mean, they do kind of look like sticks, but they're kind of orangey, browny colored. I don't know. And water moccasins a lot of times look black, but if you if you kill one and you look at it up close, because I wouldn't want to be up close if it was alive. And you're not supposed to say that. But anyway, they're kind of black, brown, gray. I don't know. I've tried to make a hat band out of a water moccasin, and it, like, we cured it, we did everything, put the salt on it, did everything we were supposed to do, and it's still, like, 2 or 3 years later, it still smelled like a snake, so, yeah. That was the last time I did that. Roy says, last time I was in Australia's top end, I found out that crocodiles like to jump into boats. I tried to walk on water. Thank you. Thank you, Roy. That would be me. Yeah, because I've seen those little, I've seen alligators, crocodiles, anything with a mouth that's bigger than mine and has more teeth. I am staying away. I'm really a weenie when it comes to outdoor and nature and stuff. So, yeah. Toast says ours are about 3 to 4 shades of tan and brown, but definitely a beautiful creature from 10 feet away. Thank you. Yes, that's. I can go to the zoo and see all the snakes. I'm very comfortable in this little snake habitat thing, as long as they are behind the glass. Perfectly comfortable. My grandson, however, likes to handle snakes, or one snake in particular. Some friends of his mom's have a snake, and he seems to like it. I have told him under no uncertain terms, are we going to have anything in this house that remotely looks like a snake? Real, plastic, I don't care. We're not having it. And so he thought it was just hilarious, and he wanted to bring all these little toy snakes over to Granny's, and I'm like, I'm not having it. Nope, 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 nope. So he can snake all he wants to as long as he's not here. Jeff says, in Australia, we have 6 states, and in each state there is a capital city. So you'd have 6 capital cities, then 2 territories. So, for example, state of the old city of Brisbane, where Roy lives, state of Victoria, capital is Melbourne. Okay, so let me, okay. In the state of old city of Brisbane. So Brisbane's a city. The state is Victoria, but the capital city is Melbourne. Gotcha. I think. I think. Clear as mud. So we have like 50 states, obviously. And so, like Oklahoma, the capital is Oklahoma City. Really, they really went out on a limb naming that one. And then you have all these little towns. But like Tulsa is a pretty good sized town. We're not quite as big as Oklahoma City, but it's close. And those are really the 2 main. Those are the main cities in Oklahoma. Everything else is like a small town. And I'll probably get hate mail from anybody that lives in one of these small towns going, hey, we're not that small. Yeah, you are. Compared to Tulsa and Oklahoma City, everything else is small town. So, and there's a lot of uninhabited land in Oklahoma. Like the more west you get, it gets like browner and flatter, and then on the eastern side of Oklahoma, it's very hilly and green. That's why they call it green country. But we have a lot more lakes than our fair share. And so there's a lot of water in green country, which helps with keeping everything green. But in western Oklahoma, it's very flat, very almost like a desert, without it being, without having the pretty stuff that a desert has. So, like in Las Vegas is in the desert, And they have a lot of really pretty stuff. Las Vegas itself happens to be in a basin, and so all the way around Las Vegas is mountains. But it's still pretty. And then on the way there, I think you go through, I think it's Utah that you fly over, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But no, we don't have that here. Oh, Roy says, I still have relatives in QLD. Is QLD Queensland? Maybe? Queensland? I don't know how you say it. But yeah, Roy says, I live in a state of confusion. Me too, buddy. Me too. I just kind of nod my head a lot and yeah, okay. But I don't really, since I haven't been there, it's hard for me to picture it, which is why I need a map. I'm going to get a big map so that I know where all these places are. Or I could just get a plane ticket. But from what I understand, here we go again. In order for me to fly anywhere, whether it be Las Vegas or Australia or Kansas, which is right above Oklahoma, in order for me to fly anywhere, I either have to have a driver's license with a little star on it, which I do not have, or a passport. Now get this. Okay. A passport with a current picture. Okay. Now your passport technically is good for 10 years. So most of you guys live with a woman. Do any of them look the same as they did even 5 years ago? Because this was a problem when I flew. When I got my passport in 2000, I think it was either late 18 or early 19. My hair was long, like like long, and I colored it. So it was not white. Well, fast forward to December, my hair is now short and white. So the only saving grace, because the guy looked at it, and I gave him my license too, even though it doesn't have a star on it. And so he's comparing them, and he says, is this really you? And I said, yes, it is. And so he had me pull my hair back and like with my hands so he could just see my face. And he took his hand and went like this on the passport so he could just see my face. And he looked at me, and he looked at it, and he looked at me. He's like, okay, but you need to get a new picture. Okay. Well, the passport's good for 10 years, so I'm thinking it should be good until at least 2028, which is, what, 2 years from now? So I will get a new one. But yeah, apparently it just really, really blew their minds that I had changed my hair since I had my passport picture taken. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just shake my head and try to be kind. Always try to be kind. But yes, Roy, I think you're not alone. I think most of the world is in a state of confusion. Yes, QLD is Queensland. Got it. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Roy says, I probably won't be allowed on a plane again. Not going to miss much. No, you're really not. Because now, which this will tell you the state our world is in. They will fine you now if you get in an altercation with basically anybody. The stewardesses, other passengers, etc., etc. Good. I don't want to be on vacation and be trying to enjoy myself and have some idiot passenger think that he's entitled to get in an altercation with anybody. So good. I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't so long ago when I was okay, it was a long time ago. When I was a kid, you dressed up to fly. Like, maybe you didn't put your Easter clothes on, but you didn't fly in, like, sweatpants and a ripped T-shirt and flip-flops and, things weren't just not that casual as they are today. But you certainly would never think to raise your voice to a stewardess, and now they're called flight attendants. They're not stewardesses, but you would never back then, you would never think to raise your voice to someone that knows more about that aircraft than you do. Okay. And so I thought it was really sad and somewhat humorous that now you're gonna get an exorbitant fine. Well, why did they have to do that? Because people are becoming idiots. Did I say that out loud? Okay, sorry. So no, Roy, you won't miss much. Jeff says Queensland is our state. Brisbane is the capital city. Where we live, we also get a variety of deadly snakes and spiders that are dangerous, but you would be unlucky if you die or get bitten. Okay. Okay, well, I get that. I mean, we have stuff like that, I guess. Um, Fun fact, you guys probably don't have them. We have a spider called a granddaddy longlegs, and it's got the thinnest legs possible. Like think of angel hair pasta. They're 100 times thinner than that. I mean, they're just these little spindly, really, really thin legs. And they've got this little bitty round body, and they're just so harmless looking. And they're pretty good size. I mean, with these spindly legs and everything, they're about half the size of my hand. Okay. And as a kid, we used to play with them because they're just so harmless looking. And they're supposed to be one of the deadliest spiders on earth, but because their mouth is so small, they can't bite you. Now, obviously I didn't know this as a kid. We played with roly-polies and granddaddy longlegs, and we didn't know any of this. And then I find out that they're one of the deadliest spiders on earth. Yeah. So, but they can't bite you because their mouths are too small. See? So that I'm okay with daddy longlegs. Now, they don't need to habitate inside my house. There's a hole outside there. They need to stay out there. I'll stay in here. It works out really well. Yeah, I'm not a bug person at all. It's just not, I never have been. So I don't like bugs in my house. Stay outside. We'll get along great. Yeah. But guys, that's all I have for you. Now, next week I will have probably 2 of the backpacks come in. And so we'll take a look at those. They are bigger than what I usually, I like my backpacks to be around 19 or 20 liters, 15 to 20. And I think one of these is 27. And I honestly don't know what size the other one is. So we'll find out. But um and if they're worth anything, I'll show them to you. I don't know. Some people on my Reddit thing asked me to look into these 2. One is seemed like a really good deal. It was like 19, $20. The other one is a big brand name. So, we'll see how they go. But thank you guys for sharing your Tuesday night with me. And because I really do look forward to this. You guys are a hoot, and I love talking to you. And all of you, thank you all for coming in. And we'll do it again next Tuesday. And I will see probably, yeah, probably won't make Peter's tomorrow night or Friday because I don't know what time we're getting home Friday. And tomorrow I have an engagement. And So I think the next time I will see you guys is on next Tuesday. Be sure and hit that thumbs up button. Apparently, I just saw one go up, and that reminded me that I'm supposed to be telling you that. Apparently it does really help the algorithm. I'm not sure, but I've heard YouTube has changed their algorithm. I don't know what the new one is because guess what? I didn't know what the old one was. So yeah, I'm just here doing my thing. But you guys have become like really good friends, and I look so forward to seeing you every Tuesday. And so I will come up with something a little more entertaining next Tuesday. But I love y'all and have a great week. And again, happy St. Patty's Day. As you can see, we did the green. So, y'all, like Randy says, stay safe, stay warm, or in Jeff and Roy's case, stay cool. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.